Did you know that asking for twice the salary you'd normally expect for a given position can significantly increase your chances of getting above average compensation? Today, we will talk about 3 psychological tricks which will help you in negotiations. Hi, my name is Sophie, and you are watching Psychology Unleashed, a YouTube channel established to exploring psychology, life hacks, and book reviews to inspire you. If you are interested in these matters, please subscribe to our channel. First off, asking for twice the salary is not just about the act itself. Of course, if you don't try, if you don't ask, you'll never know. But it is important to consider all the options in negotiation, especially the unattainable ones. This principle is important not only when you are negotiating a salary, it is also true when you're looking for a partner that may be out of your league. There are so many components in a relationship that the results are often difficult to predict. So if you don't try, you'll never know. Having worked in buying for years, I've gathered several tools that help me achieve my goals in negotiations. Today I will share 3 strategies that can help you in any situation. The first rule: the way to a man's heart is through his belly. Let's say you need to have a difficult conversation with your partner or your parents. You want to talk about your last fight or a sensitive topic, or you are negotiating an important contract. Maybe you failed on an important project that you have to inform your boss about. All of these scenarios require a setting which minimalizes the possibility of conflict or unpleasant exchanges and increases the chances that your counterpart will accept your terms. A shared meal increases those chances. Invite this person to dinner and talk about that complicated subject while you eat. This minimizes the chances of being attacked, of someone raising their voice, as food is usually associated with security. Additionally, a full belly stimulates the production of happy hormones, which makes your interlocutors less likely to hold on tightly to their position. At the same time, the pace of conversation is slower while eating, and you have more time to formulate your thoughts. This strategy can be very effective. You just need to keep in mind that it takes longer than an office meeting, so it's better to reserve it for more complex situations that require an hour or more. The second rule: the closer you get, the more effective you are. This principle, like the previous one, applies to conflict resolution or negotiations. Basically, it means that you should try to sit close to the person you expect to confront or negotiate with. Physical closeness is a subconscious sign of trust and confidence in yourself and the person who you are with. When you sit close to a person who talks badly about you behind your back, it not only makes any confrontation rather awkward, but sitting close is also a sign of vulnerability that can make the other person feel a bit guilty about their prejudice. What's also worth mentioning is a strong psychological effect between the sexes, specifically the effect that a woman's exposed skin has on a man. Physical closeness and seeing a woman's body subconsciously relaxes the man and makes him more susceptible to her influence. One of the interesting examples of this behavior in this case is of Dali DiPolito in the United States, whose husband suspected that she wanted to have him killed, but he only had circumstantial evidence. With the court's permission, an undercover detective pretended to be an assassin for hire, and the wife paid him to kill her husband. When the hitman returned to collect the remainder of the payment after reportedly killing her husband, the wife showed no remorse whatsoever. This was significant evidence to arrest her, but during the interrogation, she was reunited with her husband, who she thought had been killed. Her initial shock quickly turned into a psychopathic attempt to manipulate the prosecutor and her husband with physical closeness. How did she do it? Raising her voice in a begging tone, she pleaded with her husband to come close to her. When he did, in the blink of an eye, the closeness of her skin and her body transformed the man who was ready to put her into jail into a compassionate caretaker. This is a truly powerful tool in the female arsenal, in this case used for manipulation by a psychopath. But on a more subtle level, female closeness really does affect even the strongest of men. The third rule: aim high if you want to get what you expect. There is a rule in the process of creating a product or service which says that you should always start with a higher price, even if it seems to benefit your competitors at that moment. Besides aspects like quality and marketing that affect the price, the general rule is that it is easier to reduce the price than to increase it. No one likes a price increase. It is difficult to find supporters for the privatization of public services because they generally increase the cost of those services. This rule is understood by some politicians who use it to their advantage. They submit a new bill which will have dire consequences, so that there are protests in opposition to it. Then they make some modifications, pretending to be humble and accepting the criticism of the opponents. And finally, they submit the bill that they really wanted, which by comparison is a lot better than the first, so it gains acceptance. These methods are common in pseudo-dictatorships, where despite the criticism and protests, the rulers end up getting their way. Enough about politics. I just wanted to demonstrate that the rules we are talking about are well known and widely used. And there are many times that we all find ourselves in situations where it is necessary to negotiate, be it a simple financial transaction or a complex business plan. When we negotiate, we usually gravitate towards a sense of fairness or the best solution. But if you want to achieve the best possible outcome, you have to set aside your honest assessment and aim for the highest possible point. In a job interview, where you have a well-established position as a potential employee, instead of asking them between $800 and $1,000 salary and getting them to lower the figure, try confidently asking for $2,000. Often the recruiter will respond that he or she does not have that amount of money in the budget for that position. And that's precisely the tiny sense of guilt you're looking for, so that you can ask them if they could accept $1,200 if you get a permanent contract. By using this strategy, you increase your chances of success in the negotiation. Once, I was asked to donate books for an orphanage. I figured no big deal. I'd pull out 5 books from the shelf and I'll be done. But the person on the other end of the line steered the conversation so that I asked how many books altogether they needed. He said that he had a list of 250. I felt a bit of panic and wanted to hang up, but the man continued that if I could come up with 15, that would be great. I breathed a sigh of relief. 15 is much better than 250. So I ended up donating 15 books and completely forgot about the 5 that I wanted to donate initially. The simple rule is when negotiating, start with the highest amount, much higher than expected. When your request is rejected, you'll probably feel some guilt altogether with the rejection. It's a normal human emotion to feel a bit guilty when refusing something. This is the moment you can offer a reasonable alternative and everyone ends up happy with the result. The big part of this technique is a sense of feeling guilty by the person, refusing your request, and ultimately release the tension when the acceptable solution is presented. So, remember the 3 tricks we discussed. Number 1, the way to a man's heart is through his belly. Number 2, the closer the better. And number 3, aim high if you want to get what you expect. I hope you will use these tools to your advantage, and I invite you to leave us a comment and tell us what you think. I thank you for your attention and invite you to discover our channel. If you are not yet one of the subscribers of the channel, Psychology Unleashed, please click the subscribe button and wait for our next animation.